That's right, folks. It's award season once again, and your old pals of Movie Night Extravaganza are here to guide you through that golden-colored wonderland, aren't we, Kristina?
Yes, and fun fact, the Oscar got its nickname because of Betty Davis. And the original point of the Oscars was about a house, believe it or not. But then it became something big and special and something that drives us crazy, considering what snubs were to be had this time around.
Wasn't it originally the first Oscars were trying to quell labor unrest?
It was the pizza party of its time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is notable to, I feel like every year there's at least one egregious snub or just WTF moment.
A few for this year, though.
A few for this year, for sure. And
I mean,
we are
Godzilla
going to be getting... Yeah, exactly. Godzilla snubbed for leading actress, unfortunately.
Yes.
But it's notable because I think this is actually a pretty strong year overall. And not every film in Best Picture, for instance, but strong year. There's usually at least one egregious, if not multiple movies I'm like, I can't stand that movie and wish it didn't exist.
Maestro.
And that's not the case this time. So we're gonna be covering a bunch of these. Now keep in mind, it's notable because we are history's greatest genius that we collectively. We also covered Oppenheimer and Barbie earlier on. Right, so there's sort of like the two big movies of Oscar season.
Thank God we got them out of the way too.
Right, so we have those, and we're going to be covering some of the lesser known ones as well. We're going to get into that with the as we get in the show and sort of reveal which ones we're doing. But before we do any of that, of course, people are here to hear our take on the Oscars themselves, not just hear me bloviate. There's a whole show you can do that for. So let's go ahead and bring them up. We're going to start with the top of the docket, which is Best Picture, which of course has got 100 million. There's 10. It's not 100 million.
They literally can't add like one more nominated slot for like every other category.
Right.
Like, just saying.
So, Kristina, why don't you kick us off and guide us through what we have, and we can all kind of.
Okay, what we have here is American Fiction. Pretty strong contender. I believe we are covering it, are we not?
We are, with Zach B. Marsh. So excited to have him back. I love this. I saw it in the theater, which is the only way to see it right now, and I thought it was very clever and a lot smarter than I expected it to be.
Yes. We are having Anatomy of a Fall, which I haven't seen that one yet, but I desperately need to see that one. I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, Anatomy of a Fall, solid. This insane to me that this wasn't France's entry for international, because it's got a lot of people are really like Anatomy of a Fall. It's
they really misstepped with the international, like they really could have went there.
But it's very beloved by a lot of folks. We'll talk more about that.
Yeah, Eileen, praised the dog acting.
Right, excellent dog acting.
I know,
in Fall, for sure. No, absolutely, that's very real.
Yeah. And next up, we have Barbie, everyone's favorite.
Just a scrappy little indie that could,
Yes, I have some thoughts about some of the other nominations regarding Barbie and the stuff regarding that. But we also got The Holdovers, which, by the way, if you haven't seen The Holdovers, I believe it's on Peacock or Paramount Plus?
It is maybe the only thing on Peacock right now, but it is indeed
Yeah,
on
that
Peacock.
and the TED Show.
The TED Show. And of course, we'd like to welcome KT to the show. KT, thanks for joining us. We're starting off with the Best Picture nominees and kind of working our way down. So we're up to Barbie right now, and then Holdovers is indeed streaming on Peacock. This is my favorite film of the year.
Nice.
So I think it's amazing. I think everyone should watch it, and I'm excited that other people seem to be excited about it.
Yeah.
So
Next up, we have Killers of the Flower Moon, which I believe this makes, with Best Director nomination, Martin Scorsese is like the most nominated director currently in film history.
I believe it.
Which is pretty, good for him. He's this up and coming dude. Apparently, we got to see what else he's got in mind.
Yeah, it's Killers of the Flower Moon. Who on the panel has seen it? I've seen it. Has anyone? Seen it?
Yeah.
I have the file, but I haven't watched the whole thing. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and watch.
No. You don't need to make excuses. I'm just saying it's a long movie, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
that's a film.
It's an investment of time. Like Fitzcarraldo flies compared to like Killers of the Flower
It took
Moon.
my sister like a whole year just to watch Goodfellas, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
So what's interesting to me, and we'll get more into it, but I kind of feel like Killers of the Flower Moon is a rare example of I think would have made a great streaming series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think it is a good movie. And what I'm very excited about is that it's going to be the first one of the spoiler alert of the Oscar movies that we're covering.
Mm-hmm.
Karthik, friend of the show, Karthik, one time co-host the show before my time, really likes it, and so I'm very excited to get his take on it. And there is a lot to discuss there, and we'll talk about it.
I bet it'll involve neoliberalism.
I think it's probably
Yeah.
I gotta say, my favorite review of that has been it's a pretty good 3.5 hour movie about white people taking over an area of land when it should have been a really great 2.5 hour movie about indigenous people.
Yeah, I see
I
that.
don't really agree with. I see what they're doing there, but I think it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
I haven't not seen it yet. I'm going to, obviously, but you know,
Well, you can
a lot of time to dig, to invest for that.
I mean, there's the
And I could be
same
watching Doctor Who.
same take as the people that watched Oppenheimer, and I'm like, why are there no Japanese people in this? Like, that's the exact same.
Right.
Yeah, it's that same discourse. Like, but it's called Oppenheimer. Like, they're like, we know it's called Oppenheimer, but, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, no,
you know what,
Oppenheimer
Robert,
makes sense by
you
this.
know what? If you want to bitch about Oppenheimer, go yell at Robert Pattinson. He's the one who gave Christopher Nolan the American Prometheus book in the first place. So blame Twilight for this movie.
I thought
okay?
just yell at him because he
Okay.
deserves to be yelled at, which I was like, wow, that's a strong, bold stance.
I don't know. He
know that.
spent a lot of time with Kristen Stewart. I think he did his dime.
Yeah. Speaking of why the fuck is this even on the list? Maestro.
Oh.
This movie could have easily been replaced by like Godzilla. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
But why?
I said to Conan earlier, I think that the Academy really loves a prosthetic nose. Like they gave the hours way more attention than I felt like it deserved as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That nose was like kind of offensive. Like I don't know. Like I just it's
Yeah.
like that nose felt right on the edge. And then there's a scene where he's like doing the blow, like his friend's doing the blow, and he's like he does it with his he hoovers it up with his nose, and then his friend's struggling to do it. He's like, what's the matter up there? And it's like, I don't know, man. This feels right on the line.
I feel that not enough attention is being paid to the nose, and because that truly is worse than October 7th.
No struggle. Yeah, well.
I mean, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Leonard Bernstein's music, so I'm struggling to want to watch a biopic about him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't with it not. I mean, I just watched. I watched Mojo when they did the most like Oscar baity films of like the last 23 years, and Napoleon was this year, and I'm like, well, actually, I think it should have went to Maestro considering it hasn't won anything major, and it's this is supposed to be Bradley Cooper's magnum opus, but like,
Yeah. It feels like he was attempting to make something important.
Well, I think biopics are like that, right?
And I choose my words carefully where I say he was attempting to make something important.
yeah.
Bradley Cooper's magnum nose piss.
But I also I think the genre is pretty boring and pretty bland. I mean, how many biopics are really
Too many in the biopic industrial complex. That's what
Too many even in this.
Which is what made me enjoy Oppenheimer. The next one on the specifically.
Oppenheimer, favorite to win Best Picture. Actually, I'm placing bets, guys. The best thing about Oppenheimer is the duo of Emma Thomas and Christopher Nolan, husband and wife duo. We love him. Christopher Nolan does not own a phone nor an email, so if we wanted to contact him about this, we would not know how to. We couldn't.
That's literally the only thing keeping us from doing that.
Yes.
We do send him semaphore messages, though. He'll get them.
Right.
Exactly.
No, Cillian Murphy plays a Jewish guy with his regular nose. He doesn't.
I know. He played a Jewish guy with an Irish nose, and it was fine.
That's why he's not going to get an Oscar. No.
If you want to get a hold of Nolan, you got to use a passenger pigeon.
Can I ask you guys?
With his wife, apparently, and I'm like. Ugh.
Can I ask you guys? I haven't seen Oppenheimer yet. I intend to see it in the next couple of days. Do you feel like it unjustly elevates Oppenheimer, like celebrates him, or do you feel like it fell into a nice place?
It fell into a nice place. It really talks about him having conflicting feelings about splitting the atom and making this, nuclear weapon and whatnot. Like he kind of has a bit of almost like an identity crisis, after, and then he suffers from like a communist witch hunt, even though a lot of the information about his life was already out and about. And this is why I hate conservatives, because they're like, yeah, we're just going to rehash all this like bullshit that, is already out there and make a big stink about it.
I feel like if I'm looking at it from a personal morality standpoint, they probably elevated Oppenheimer a little bit too much. If I'm looking at it from like a did I enjoy the movie standpoint, I think they did a good job, kind of whatever. But I also read the book like right before.
Oh, did you? I hadn't noticed.
So the book is a lot more brutal on the character of Oppenheimer and like what he goes through and kind of how much he like gives in to like the establishment pressure and like how much he wants to be a part of the establishment and like tells himself over and over again like, oh, I'm the only one that can really stop like catastrophic things like Edward Teller's like hydrogen bomb from really happening. And he like deludes himself and everyone's like, you're deluding yourself, like you're just giving in to what the fucking Cold War thing is. And it's hard to, I don't know how that can be put on the screen. His inner monologue that we kind of speculate on.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good movie. So we did a whole episode on this, right? So if people are really interested in at least 3 of our thoughts on it, then you can opine on that.
You got none of mine because I had a power outage at the time. The cable, the power line was split like the atom.
Andy, nobody gives a shit. I'm sorry, nobody cares about why.
And also, for those who haven't seen Oppenheimer yet, in the movie Night Extravaganza community, we are doing a watch party of Oppenheimer this Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, in the Discord.
So you can catch up. I wanted to say, again, you can listen more to that for everyone but Andy, apparently, that it's physics representation. Really good physics representation. And I can't recall a movie I've ever seen that's done that so impressively. And so my reasons for liking it are very different from a lot of other people's reasons. There's a lot of people that love hating on everything Christopher Nolan does. A lot of people that love loving Christopher Nolan. There
are people who love the unnecessary sex scenes in this movie, even though there's only 2 of them.
Well, another movie.
You only need one.
That does good. I mean, a different kind of physics, obviously, but like, Interstellar is another fucking Nolan movie that does good, like astrophysics.
It's astrophysics, but specifically, look, I think I went into it after you were done talking about the book for what seemed like 3 hours. I think I went into it on that show, so you don't need it on here. But it's something that I don't feel like I've seen a lot of people discuss. And credit where credit's due, Interstellar and Oppenheimer both, Nolan like did the homework, right? Like, and if you're gonna
seriously,
Well, the reason I bring it up is just because I feel like the topic matter of May December is part of why it's not nominated as much, and I worry that like any kind of like they might pass over Oppenheimer for the same sort of like, well, we don't want to celebrate the text of this.
Yeah.
By the way, I was kind of heartbroken that Kip Thorne, the guy that he worked with on Interstellar, like the astrophysicist, was one of the people in the picture with Stephen Hawking and the Epstein Island.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
With like Virginia Guffrey or whatever, like the girl that sued Dershowitz, like she's in the picture too, and it's like this is clear, like you fucking got some like underage hookers with these like scientists, like this is damning.
We got 19 of these topics, so we're gonna start moving forward. But here's this is relevant. And start with word saying: is it possible for May December to be the end of the biopic industrial complex with the way
Billy Falala
was ignored when making the film? Touches on these ethics that Forrest mentioned. I hope so. I don't think so, but because
December is not a biopic of what Mary Kay Letourneau did to Billy. Like it's not. It has elements based off of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But here's what's great. We're going to be talking about May December with KT and with our old friend Lauren Chenard, who
I'm just saying you can't. Then we couldn't make any movies because a lot of stories are based off of stories of real life that actually existed without being a full blown biopic. But whatever.
I'm sick of fucking. I've never liked biopics. They're just not my thing. Which is why Oppenheimer kind of blew me away. Is because it's like a biopic that I was like I enjoyed watching that.
I agree.
Maestro, the exact opposite. I was like,
Speaking of past lives,
Conan, did you like Past Lives? It's very romantic.
I love Past Lives. Past Lives is fantastic. Like, and
how romantic.
Did you like Moonstruck?
Well, you have to wait for KT's episode for that to drop like next month. Is that what's happening?
It's on Valentine's Day.
Oh, is it really? Oh, nice. When I saw Past Lives, what I first thing I thought of, and it's one that we're going to be covering this month as well. First thing I thought of it was After Sun, which is a way is like, wow, this is really great, but this is for like the deep film nerds. Like, I don't think this is going to like really get over for a larger crowd. So, Knock Me Over the Feather, it's like nominated for Best Picture. It deserves it. That's a first time picture for her, and it's really good.
When I went to go see Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
The first trailer, and it was like the 5-minute version of the trailer was for Past Lives.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there like waiting for like Beau is Afraid to start and everything, and they had like this really long trailer for Past Lives, and I was like, that looks good, but like my body's tense and I want to.
I'm ready for some deep anxiety. This is far too sweet for me.
So soothing.
Sweet and sad. Yeah. So we're gonna be doing Past Lives. I'm excited. I think that one is worthy of discussion, and there really doesn't seem to be a lot of discussion on that one, which is really weird to me. So I don't know. Yes. People assume it's like they know what it is, which like you don't know what that is.
No.
But.
And next up, we got Poor Things, which honestly, I'm so excited for.
Yeah, so Renee is coming on for that one.
Oh, that's good. That's a great guess for that.
That one dislodged a few movies to be my third favorite movie of the year.
She and I are going to be like having the hots for Sir Willem Dafoe. I know what y'all thinking. Sir, put respect on him. He is a sir. He is a knight. Okay.
Talk to Madonna about why you need to respect Willem Dafoe.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I've told you guys the story about the time that
the fake penis, right?
My dad was driving the car, and it's like we were at the market down by my house, and like the end of fucking Main Street in New Paltz, and Willem Dafoe was there, and he was like making out with like I guess his wife against the car, and my dad just honks and is like, Willem Dafoe, and I was like, don't do that. It was like I think like 11 a.m. or like noon on like a Sunday morning, like they were making out against the car.
Can you imagine being the kind of famous where people just shout your literal name at you?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad for I feel bad for Cillian Murphy because he gets shit like by order of the Peaky fucking blinders thrown at him all the time. And I'm like, oh god.
And he probably also gets called Cillian a lot too.
Hassan did that today while going. I'm like, Hassan Piker, how dare you? I love you. I'm doing this because I love you. But it's Cillian, not Cillian.
He probably didn't see your tweet.
How many does he get offended when the people call him like different? Does Hassan get offended when people mispronounce his name all the time? Yes.
I get offended if people mispronounce my name. I make a big stink about it. So probably.
People call me Patricia. How the fuck do you get Kristina out of that?
It's okay. Sometimes people say to me.
What are they calling a cat?
Yeah, like it's
Hassan Pecker from the chat, Chapter Black. There you go.
Hey San Pecker. Hey San Pecker.
Hey San Peckers over here.
If somebody's calling him Hey San, they're just being like, that's just racism. I feel like.
Yeah.
More like
Or hostile. Anyway, also zone of interest.
Zone of interest. I would be interested in seeing this movie. It ever played in my state.
Sorry,
Yeah.
you're not in the zone of interest.
Apparently not. Yeah.
You have to get on like the Enterprise. It's right next to Finding Q.
Isn't Albert-
Apparently,
isn't
the
Albert
zone of
Brooks
interest
movie-
is New York City because it's the only place that it's playing.
That's where the zone of interest is. It's New York
True
City.
that.
Gotta
though.
go there.
True that. New York
It's,
City.
it's an Albert Brooks movie, and he's just not interested in in going to Wisconsin.
That's right. No, it's a good deep pull. Yeah. I think Stevie here.
Oh my God,
Cat looking at a bird in a window.
Oh, my cat's totally doing that. It's hilarious. Yeah, so that's the only one I haven't seen because it's literally impossible to see.
Yeah.
It's Jonathan Glazer, so he did Under the Skin, which I love. This is a very different kind of movie. I hear it's great. It's a big old bummer though. So I don't know. It's the only one I haven't seen. But,
Apparently next week KT and I can go see it because it's playing near us.
oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
At
it's Amherst
Amherst?
Cinema starting on Friday, the 26th.
Support your local cooperative film houses.
Yes.
Grab
I
a
guess
buddy
you have to go.
and go see the Holocaust movie.
Yeah, no,
Come on, buddy.
I'm sure it's awesome. Like I said, I hear nothing but lovely things, but it's also the feel bad movie of the year. So there you go. Those are the Best Picture nominees.
We like a zone of interest.
We have so we do an episode of American Fiction. We did an episode on Barbie, the now classic episode. We are doing an episode of The Holdovers with Eileen Jones, which I'm very excited for because she likes that movie as much as I do. Very cool. Killers of the Flower Moon with Karthik, as mentioned. Oppenheimer we did earlier this year. Notice what I did there? See what I did? Past Lives we are covering, and Poor Things we are covering with Renee. That's actually going to be the last episode before our actual Oscar stream. So it's a Renee Friday, and I think that one's in March.
You know what my name for Maestro is? Floppenheimer.
Would have been Mistro, but no.
Oh, Mistro! Wow, that would be if I was like a movie reviewer. I'd be like, Mistro, one word review, like Spinal Tap style.
Is that the movie where Bradley Cooper does drag? Maestro?
It could be, kid. Listen.
Listen, say what you will about the guy. He's got range.
She's got gams.
He's got beautiful eyes.
great
Got
legs.
You take the fake nose and you throw some fake tits on it. Mistro.
All that matters is that it's fake. Can't be any realness at all to it.
He doesn't have tits.
All right.
So coming up next, we got directing. So before we get into this,
Something's missing. There's just something missing about this category. I just can't put my finger on it.
yeah, it feels like there should be something else here. What is it?
You could add a Styx nominee, perhaps. Oh.
You can only do one. You can only do one woman at a time for directing.
Apparently
He's
so.
right. He is absolutely
Academy's
right.
Like, yo, we did it. We did
Yeah.
the feminism thing.
They have a woman and a man named Yorgos. All right, they're really.
We got a
very
broad. We got a Greek. What more do you want?
good. Is Yorgos the new flavor of Rakia that Billy Gold's working on?
Jonathan Glazer, delicious.
Delicious. Yes, like a donut.
Conan, you want me to announce these?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we got nominees for directing: Anatomy of Fall, Justine Trite,
Woman,
Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese,
Italian,
Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Poor
nerd.
Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, and Zone of Interest,
Not
Jonathan
sure.
Glazer. But
Okay.
there's
Do it.
one person that's missing from this, and I have to say, Greta Gerwig snub for Barbie? Are you fucking kidding me,
Yeah.
Academy? Let me tell you something. That's like not nominating Christopher Nolan for Oppenheimer for directing. Without Greta Gerwig, there was no Barbie.
This is the white woman equivalent of October 7th.
It is. And I'm tired of this is why we still need Feminism 101, people.
Yeah, so it's so fitting in so many ways, and by fitting I mean disappointing, that it makes it for Best Picture. Great, it should. It single-handedly like created a phenomenon that saved the movie industry, right? Because it wasn't coming from Nolan's side, that's for sure.
And it's better than the other fucking slop that they put in for like the populist pick usually. You know what I mean? Like it's either like some kind of a Marvel or like Top Gun or like
Top
I
Gun
think that
Maverick.
I enjoyed watching the Barbie movie more than I would have ever enjoyed those other
It
things.
shouldn't. So that's what I was getting at. Is that like it shouldn't work? Like there's nothing about the Barbie movie that should work. Yet, straining credulity and reality itself, much like Fitzgeraldo, where he pulls the boat over the hill, it works and it's great. Yet, apparently, it happened out of a void. Nobody directed it.
Yeah, what Barbie directed by? I'm still confused. Who
Roman
directed
Polanski, apparently, because we don't talk about it.
Yeah, I just don't know how they can justify this list. I am completely baffled by this decision. I mean, you can put her on there and not give it to her, but to not put her on there, it's like such a deliberate sentence.
Well, I wonder if it's like they just assumed that, oh, well, everyone else is gonna. I don't need to vote for that. Someone else will do it.
Yeah, I'm
It's
going to
really
vote for
the
Zone of
point of the
Interest because
whole
I'm the only
movie.
person who's seen it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's like, did they watch the movie that we watched? Honestly, I expected the movie to maybe be about as good as the new Super Mario Brothers movie, where it was like
Super Brothers Mario, we call it.
we got that
It's a
one. though.
gritty reboot. They're
Super Mario
detectives.
Brothers.
This
They're
is Super
super.
Brothers Mario. This is the good stuff.
He's Italiano.
See, we
Like,
changed
put
the
him at the
words
track,
around, so you know it's for adults this time.
In Russian, no word order. It's fine.
Super Brothers Mario.
But it's so much better than that. It's so much better than it deserves to be. It had a moment like Wonder Woman where, like, as a woman, you're watching it, you're just like, I can't believe I'm literally fucking watching something this transcendent.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, okay, we want to celebrate how great the movie is, but specifically not celebrate either of the women that actually accomplished this incredible, impossible task and more or less save the industry. And how can we make that really clear? Well, let's not nominate her for director.
Yeah.
We already got a broad. You want two broads?
Yeah, but I think this is probably gonna it might go to Christopher Nolan.
I think you're absolutely right. I think it goes to Nolan. Again, don't know about Zone of Interest because I haven't seen it. Poor Things, fantastic. I think in a different year, it might be Poor Things. I think Killers of the Flower Moon. I thought it was
not her time yet.
It was a stone cold cinch for Killers of the Flower Moon earlier in the year, but then people kind of were mad about it, and it's gonna be Oppenheimer. It's gonna be Christopher Nolan. I think Anatomy of a Fall is an awesome movie. I never once thought about how well directed it was. I don't know. I wasn't mad at it. I liked it, but the fact that Greta Gerwig's not on here is it's one of the two biggest problems with this year's Oscars for me.
Yeah, and without the number one thing besides like Margaret, like the number one thing that's discussed regarding Barbie is Greta Gerwig directing it, how much she really made this her baby.
Right. Well, and I feel like she hasn't made a bad film. I think they're all very good. And this was it was like, remember early in the year, it's like, well, it's only question is whether she wins, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think people don't think about what a director does. Like, think about how a director has to center the actors in a space, in a time. Like, these characters were not existent. Greta brought these actors to it. Versus, like, Oppenheimer, were you going to bring them to playing Oppenheimer? It's not really that far of a walk.
Yeah.
Well, and again, it shouldn't have worked, right? There's nothing about that movie that should have worked, and it does, and it's not repeatable, and they're still going to try to repeat it.
But the people are like, but here's the thing though, Greta and Margot are nominated though. I'm like, but not in the actual categories that represent their performances.
Starring Hoskins Bob. That goes back to the Super Brothers Mario.
They nominated her in 2020 for the screenplay for Little Women, but not director. Kind of crazy.
Okay, what's up next?
So up next we have
maybe they just hate her and Noah Baumbach, who like
that's probably what it is.
Won his one.
Why would they give Bradley Cooper a nomination for best leading actor? Like, what the fuck?
All right. I'm doing this one, so calm down.
Okay.
So nominees for actor in a leading role, we do have Bradley Cooper in Maestro, and a lot of people seem to think it's a good performance. I think it's a good imitation.
Yes, and that's a great point.
I have a big nose.
That's a really great point.
You want to hear an opera?
It took me 6 years to learn 6 minutes of conducting.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
I liked it better when Lydia Tarr did it.
There's
She
something
got
about that.
canceled she got canceled, but fucking Leonard Bernstein doesn't get canceled. He's fucking everybody. He's fucking men. He's fucking women. He's fucking everybody. He's doing cocaine. He's not canceled, but Lydia Tarr canceled. I think that's sexist.
That's right.
He's a real person.
Yeah, there's something desperate about his performance that, like, I just like. I think I like the movie the best out of the core four that I know of. But I didn't love it. I thought it was.
We need core 4 t-shirts.
The core four, that's right. Yeah, he ain't winning.
No.
Coleman Domingo, Rustin. I haven't seen Rustin yet.
I
That's,
haven't either, but I
have.
love Coleman Domingo as an actor. Like
Yeah,
that,
he's
that's
good.
one of those guys who could read a phone book, and I'm there for it because he's
Yeah,
great.
he
He's
was
great.
also in the recent Color Purple movie, but he was really good in Rustin.
The only thing I've seen about Rustin is people being mad. But anytime they make a biopic about a black leader, everybody's mad.
Well, the one thing I gotta say though that's fantastic about that is like they actually hired a gay black guy to play the Bayard Rustin.
I mean, I
as
love
opposed
Coleman
to what they
Domingo.
normally do, where has to have somebody play gay. So like which
Or
actually
they get a straight British man.
yeah. but
Scarlett Johansson, actually, she's playing that role.
But Coleman Domingo specifically, his whole entire career has been like specifically always playing a gay character, and so like it's nice to see that the years that he's worked in Hollywood is finally paying off for him.
I hear he's wonderful in this. I think this is one of Obama's production companies.
I believe
movies,
so.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Wow.
don't think
Obama
he's gonna be
doing
that good,
something.
but
Okay.
I think Coleman Domingo is probably going to be great because it's Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, he's got a really good. Like, I think this is gonna really like make his like. He's gonna be doing a lot more things in the future.
I will say, not that enthusiastic about the idea of what Obama's take on Bayard Rustin is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay, black, and don't
You're gonna whitewash it.
None of the other stuff. Nothing about LBJ. Well, maybe LBJ, but not LBJ.
Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers. Again, not only one of my favorite movies of the year, I think it's one of the best performances as well.
He won Critics' Choice Award.
He
Right?
won the
Yeah.
Critics.
Yeah.
Bit of an upset there.
Everyone that was
Yeah. Well, also, I'm just Ken winning. That was also weird too. But
which
whatever.
we'll get to, but that's not what we're talking about now. This is people that were surprised by it or people that haven't seen that movie. He's freaking awesome in it, and it's Alexander Payne and Paul Giamatti together again. Anyone that knows me knows I love the movie Sideways.
How is Alexander Payne still working?
What do you mean?
Yeah, isn't he kind of problematic?
He got Me Too. He was swept up in the Me Too thing, but he kind of managed to hide behind
Look at David
Harvey
Russell
Weinstein.
with Amsterdam.
He managed to hide behind Harvey Weinstein's fat ass, and nobody noticed that he got Me Too by the same people that Me Too'd Harvey Weinstein.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about that.
I do think that The Holdovers is held back by being on Peacock. I think that's why a lot of people haven't seen it.
Well, Oppenheimer's gonna be on Peacock too, which I'm like, what the fuck? That's like at least a Paramount Plus event.
Okay, all right, hold on. So what point of order? So the Holdovers too. I don't really think of things as being holiday movies, but a bunch of people that do say this is one of the best holiday movies in a very long time. Yet they waited until after the holidays to put it on Peacock, and I understand that was because they wanted people to go out into the theater to see it, but I think that was a mistake. And I think it's no.
I love this so much.
That's what he's gonna do if he wins the Oscar.
This is the Paul Giamatti right after he won Critics' Choice Award.
It's got the award just on the table next to his animal style fries.
Hey guys, remember that year where it was against Rami Malek and Christian Bale, and the Critics' Choice Awards? Christian Bale was nominated for both like comedy and drama, and he won both over Rami Malek. That was funny, but then Rami got the Oscar, and I was like, oh, okay.
Anyway, Giamatti's amazing. The Holdovers, strong contender, and then of course we have are we calling him Cillian now? Cillian Murphy.
A silly little guy.
Yeah, he's a
silly little guy.
Celebrated. He was in his childhood home in Cork, Ireland, with his wife, his kids, and his parents, and his mom made him sponge cake.
Is Cillian Murphy is a show called Cheeky Blinders?
Yes.
Anyway, Cillian Murphy, titular role in Oppenheimer. He's great in that.
Did
Jeff-
you guys know he could have been the lead in Inception?
He could have been a contender.
Yeah, like he literally
For
Chris
actor
Nolan
in a
like, picked
leading
whatever role, and he
role.
decided to pick Robert Fisher.
So it's interesting. There's been more enough discussion on this guy, who I like quite a bit, but he's been a that guy actor for most of his career,
He's
and
been
this
acting
is
since he was like
absolutely
20. He's been in films for almost 30 years.
this is absolutely a leading role, and he's fantastic in it. So I think we haven't even gotten through all the nominees yet, but I think it's really going to be a race between him and Giamatti for this, and I don't think Cooper's
Yeah.
in contention.
Speaking
Whatever.
of that guy
No.
actor, though, the next one is also
I
Jeffrey
do love
Wright.
Jeffrey Wright, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright is fantastic in American Fiction. He's constantly a utility player. He's a character actor. He's there to support everyone else, and he's really good in this. And it's lovely to see it. And so there's always a chance, but I think in a different year, I think he would be a top tier contender. But I think Jeffrey Wright is unfortunately not going to be coming on with the gold.
Yeah,
It is-
this role does seem like the closest thing to like his real life, too, like as a character, as opposed to like say Basquiat.
Right.
I love when he was in he's in the fucking end of the Steve Buscemi show Boardwalk Empire, and he's playing he's playing like the fucking crazy like like more radical like Marcus Garvey type fucking figure.
Yeah.
He's a very iconic character actor, and it's amazing to see him in leading role nomination.
And for people that don't know American Fiction, because again, it's you have to actually go to the theater to see it so far. It's not streaming at the time of this recording, but it is notable because he's an author who writes these really heady, like good, but kind of like academic like books that just like keep having him be relegated to the genre specific area and stuff like that. And he gets frustrated and decides he's going to write what he thinks people wants and like as just a FU about it. And of course it becomes really popular. He does it under a pen name and people love it. It's stupid and they like adore it and like it becomes really successful and he has to reconcile that. So there's that and basically a family drama. A lot of great acting in there. American Fiction impressed me. Like it's in my top 10 for sure. And that'll be an interesting discussion.
That's basically
just,
the plot of the producers, right?
I was just
You can
like
make my money
reading
with a and then a hit.
about American Fiction like this week because like I saw like the ad the first time and I was like, this seems kind of like I don't know if this is something that I'd like, and then I saw the ad, like a different ad for it. And I was like, oh, this seems kind of interesting. So I was like looking into like the thing about it. I'm excited to see it.
Very funny. I laughed quite a bit in American Fiction, so very funny. Okay, so there you go. Actor in a leading role. We'll be covering Holdovers and American Fiction. We've already covered Oppenheimer. No Russ and no Maestro on that one. Let's go to the ladies. Actress in a leading role. Kristina, you want to do the honors in this one?
Yes. Annette Bening, Naiad, which I didn't know about until today.
That's
Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Sandra Hüller, Anatomy of a Fall. Carrie Mulligan, Maestro. Emma Stone, Poor Things. Is there someone missing from this list, though?
I don't know. I think that's all the people that acted. That were.
I think she's blonde. She's Australian. She's really good at accent work. Hollywood still has decided they're not going to take her seriously. Is it Margaret? Is her name Margaret?
I'm checking these notes. Margaret.
Maggot.
Margot Robbie. That's her name.
Robai? Is this French? Is this a French woman?
Robai. The fact that
Maggot
she's
Robai?
missing makes it like instead of I know exactly who to pick to like, I guess Lily Gladstone.
That's who's probably going to get it. If she
She
does,
is
I'm gonna be
great.
kind of
It's just
pissed.
it's just such a different performance. I think so. Annette Bening and Naiad's appearance on these lists at all, it really is like what they're calling the 2 Leslie effect. Which, okay, that's also just campaigning. So,
Yeah.
But like, from all accounts, Naiad not that great. And I'm a big Jodie Foster fan. I'm a big Annette Bening fan. But
It's nice to see Annette Bening working,
sure, absolutely. But it should be Margot Robbie. Come on. Like, what year of this is this from?
I mean, I'm going to say this. I think Margot Robbie doing Wolf of Wall Street was probably the worst thing to do for her career, even though that was her first big break, because everyone's like, oh, well, she was known for doing all that nudity and
Yeah, she's that hot chick. We get it.
yeah, they're not gonna take her seriously. Like, even when they did Tanya, like they're like,
Mhm.
That was pretty hot.
She's getting dressed in
When
Suicide
she put her
Squad,
high
and-
heel, when she put her high heel against Leo's forehead, that was pretty. That was
yeah,
pretty
and or like when she when oh god, what's David Ayer decided to do a shot of her body while she's putting on that shirt in the first Suicide Squad movie. I'm like, they're never gonna take Margot Robbie seriously, which is why she has kind of tried to stray away from being objectified in her movies.
Well,
But
the second movie I ever saw her in after Wolf of Wall Street was when she was in the fucking bubble bath explaining like the economy crashing, and, and I was like, this is unnecessary. Like what? Like what's the point of just being like, here's Margot Robbie? And it's like she's not involved in the story. Like
I thought that was hilarious. But
I
that's
mean it is, but it's like.
And you take the roles you can get until you get big enough to make a movie like Barbie.
which is what she did. And again, this goes back to what I was saying, that it's like almost like making a special point of excluding her, which is crazy to me because, again, just like you don't have that movie without Gerwig, you don't have it without Margot Robbie either. And it's
we could have had Amy Schumer and Gal Gadot, guys. Did you ever think about that, Academy? We're gonna nominate Amy Schumer instead.
What
I
it,
see how this is.
what it reminds me of
I
is
nominate her to kill herself.
can't say that stuff when you got sponsored now, dude.
Yeah.
You really can't.
We just lost our sponsor.
I nominate
Actually,
her
Billy probably
to
think
have a
it's
nice-
funny, but
to have a nice life and to to retire early.
all right. Can I get this point out? I'm only hosting this freaking segment. Adam Sandler, Uncut Gems, right? People thought they knew what that would be and they didn't bother watching it, except for the fact that like everyone watched Barbie. So what's the excuse there? Oh, other people will vote for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, I don't like it. I don't respect it. I think this is a race between Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone, and they're both fantastic, but in completely different roles.
Again, they're trying to take comedy seriously now. When's it gonna be horror's chance?
Although I also think that May December is missing from this list.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree that both Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore should absolutely be. I don't know which one would be lead, which one would be
Well,
supporting,
no,
frankly. But
Fantastic acting, yeah.
yeah,
And Godzilla.
Definitely, it feels very deliberate that it's actress in the leading role, and they're still like, let's not. Like I don't know, like what actress is more prominent this season than fucking Margot Robbie? Like
right? I mean, they that award that they basically invented for Taylor Swift to get an award at Golden Globes, and it went to Barbie instead. Like, yo, that's the actual people's choice, man. Sandra Hullers, she's really good in Anatomy of Fall. I guess she's in Zone of Interest too. I'll never know because I'll never see it apparently. I think Carey Mulligan is very good in Maestro, and Carey Mulligan's generally pretty good whenever she's in. But like it's gonna be between, again, we have to go with the nominees we have. It's gonna be either Lily Gladstone or Emma Stone, and that's a tough choice because they're both really great.
Also, Lily Gladstone was the first Indigenous woman to be nominated for Best Actress in a leading role.
Right.
yeah, I feel like that gives her like a little bit of an edge.
I think if we're gaming it out, I think it goes Lily Gladstone, and I think she is, for me, the best part of Killers of the Flower Moon. And I liked it, but she is really great.
Like everyone's like, Leo was snubbed. I'm like, this is not his best Scorsese performance. His best Scorsese performance was Wolf of Wall Street. Let's be
I
real.
also
here.
really like snubbing him though. Like they kind of get off on, like they gave him the one fucking Revenant Oscar, which is not
and
not even like
I
second
don't know.
tier.
I think they just like snubbing Leo. Like
I feel like Bradley Cooper might operate in that role pretty soon, but I've been watching a lot of silent movies, not like lots, but I've been watching a few silent movies lately. It occurred to me that Lily Gladstone could be a silent film actress. Like she does a lot with like eyebrows and like micro expressions and stuff.
Yeah, people were like, oh, she's getting nominated for just doing this. And I'm like, oh, shut up. She's doing more than that.
Sometimes acting is doing that. So shut up.
Exactly. Acting. We love it, kids. All right, so there we go. That's that one. Actor in a supporting role. We got Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction. He's the brother of Jeffrey Wright.
I like him.
It's a
He's
great
such a
role.
good actor.
That's a great character in there. It's a great nomination. Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon.
He's in it. That's true.
Yeah.
which is a film he is definitely in. Correct. Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, aka the guy that made C-SPAN entertaining.
Yes.
Ken, Ryan Gosling as Barbie, because it's okay to nominate a dude from Barbie. That's okay.
Yeah, he had words to say about that.
I thought he
And I
was.
hope he. Sorry.
It changed my entire view on Ryan Gosling. I actually really like that guy now, and I appreciate the craft that he puts into what he does.
Ryan, like he literally said, "There's no Barbie without Greta and Margot." Like you're gonna nominate me, but not them. What the fuck? Like,
And I
who
could
would've
see
said
them
that?
not giving him the award here because he would 100% go off if they give him this award.
That's a
Yeah,
good
he'd be
point.
like,
Yeah.
he'd be like, "Yo, down,
Yeah.
get your ass up here. This is yours."
I bet you he would.
He would.
And lastly, we have Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things.
Where's Sir
Fantastic.
Willem at?
Yes.
He's a excellent career best sleaze bucket in Poor Things,
Yes.
and like you love to see it. Like he
And
is.
there's an arc to his character that makes
Right.
it really interesting to watch. I was talking about this with his cousin.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no Willem Dafoe though. Like from there, that's interesting. I think this is Robert Downey Jr.
And for those who don't know, this is a Christopher Nolan directed film. Did you guys know that Robert Downey Jr. was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Tropic Thunder, but lost to, wait for it, Heath Ledger for The Dark Knight?
Oh yeah, they were never going to give him an
Nolan
Oscar
directed
for Tropic Thunder, though.
God, he's so good in that though.
I mean, he's good in that. People misunderstand the performance, but again,
Yeah.
I feel like Oscars are always the safest awards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, they are.
You're right. If there's a safe outcome, they're going to go with it. Look at Coda. Coda won Best Picture. Jesus Christ, that wasn't Best Picture that week, if you ask me. But it's fine.
No, I like the film, and I would never put it in Best Picture contenders.
Yeah.
Filmed locally in our area.
Best
Andy.
Picture on the Hallmark Channel.
No,
Anyway.
like my uncle is was a fisherman out of Gloucester. He's passed away, but
Kristina, actress in supporting role. Let's go.
Yes, actress in supporting. We got Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer because apparently acting drunk and correcting people when she left the Communist Party is worthy of a nomination. Daniel Brooks for The Color Purple. America Ferrera for Barbie. I get it, but I'm still not sure about that one.
Mhm.
Jodie Foster, Naiad. Divine, Joy Randolph, The Holdovers. That's totally hers.
She's really great. In
She's gonna get it.
It's
Like, oh yeah. Okay, great. Yeah, Jodie Foster. Okay, whatever. But
I like Jodie Foster a lot, but I'm
the
gonna.
shit she said about Gen Z.
I'll watch Naiad, I guess, because maybe it's the best thing ever. People that have seen it assure me it is not.
Gotta try it.
But I'll try it. Right.
Mhm.
I love Emily Blunt too, but that role was like not just fine.
Florence Pugh was more deserving. She actually made more of an impact to Oppenheimer's character than fucking Kitty did.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. So I think it's Divine Joy Randolph, and that so does the Golden Globes. They think that as well. Everybody, and it's a great performance, and it's an unorthodox performance as well. So unless The Color Purple is amazing, which I'm inclined to doubt.
It does feel like the Academy saw the trailer for Barbie and they were like, yeah, America Ferrera does that speech, so she does the acting. We'll just nominate her. It's fine.
Yeah, that's good, right? That's enough.
Yeah. And her performance is great, but it's just not the best performance in that. It sucks that it has to have this light of like, oh, but why her and not her?
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
Pitting women against each other. Typical feminism.
All right, so now we got original screenplay. So we got Anatomy of a Fall, very good screenplay. Holdovers.
I feel Barbie should fucking be on here.
Fantastic
Sorry.
screenplay. Maestro is a screenplay. May December, literally the only nomination for May December.
I'm
What
so confused
the
by
hell,
that.
dude?
It's really confusing.
Which is great, and Past Lives, which is of course the song directed and wrote that as well, and that absolutely should be in there.
I feel like it could go to Past Lives. I feel like this could be the screwball crazy one we don't see coming.
You never know. Because I really don't see, I mean, the adapted is where there's more the competition.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Barbie had been competing in both.
Yeah,
right? Because earlier on it was competing for original, then it moved over to adapted, which to me at the time I said that, oh, that's going to really help Holdovers. But I think that there's something to be said for, first of all, May December getting shut out on everything. that there could be said, okay, maybe that's the thing that they'll honor it for because it's the way you can kind of like passively aggressive say you like the movie. But I also think that again, France totally screwing up and not nominating Anatomy of a Fall for international. I think that's a serious contender. So I wouldn't say it's like a jump ball here, but what I would say is that Anatomy of a Fall is probably the one I think that's going to get it, and I think it should be May December. But Past Lives is great too. There are 4 great nominees here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Andy, Forrest, you guys have any thoughts on this?
I haven't seen any of those movies.
Yeah,
Forrest is just posting on Twitter.
The only one that I've seen is I just haven't seen most of them yet. I don't have a lot to add.
Okay, all right.
The only I've seen Maestro, but like
Yeah, I'd be underwhelmed too.
It's just May December. It's a movie about statutory rape. It's a hard subject.
It's a hard thing for people to get stoked about. Yeah.
Especially considering it's a comedy.
It's a rom-com.
Hollywood's trying to move past the whole Me Too thing. They're not trying to.
Look, we sorted that out, okay? Kristina, why don't you take it away for adapted?
Oh, yes. Nominees for adapted screenplay: American Fiction,
Rocks.
Barbie.
Hey, remember that movie?
Poor Thing, The Zone of Interest. Honestly, The Zone of Interest, is that even a real movie? I'm convinced it doesn't exist at this point because none of us have been able to see it.
It's just the way they can fuck Barbie out of getting more awards. They're like, all right, throw Zone of Interest in there.
It's a tax write-off.
We're making a picture. It's called The Zone of Interest. We're going to have the Brothers Mario starring in it.
This is going to be a tough
the
one.
Zone of Interest is where you
Barbie,
pull into it.
Oppenheimer, and Poor Things.
It's the warp zone of interest.
The Zone of Interest, you pull into it, you don't have to pay taxes anymore.
I want Barbie to win here so bad so that Greta and Noah can get their award. I feel a little rabid about any other choice.
This is the example of Greta's actually nominated. I'm like, seriously, whatever. But I would love for Barbie to win. Just be like, yeah, Greta got something.
Before Greta specifically as the director was snubbed and Margot as an actress was snubbed, I thought this would be American Fiction in a Walk because it is a great adaptation. But
now we got Oppenheimer and Poor Things too. This is gonna be so tough.
I think, yeah. Again, I'll never know because Zone of Interest is not in fact a real movie. But
yeah, exactly. But what is this movie? It's probably like a fake movie now.
I'm thinking American Fiction or Barbie, and I think for the reasons mentioned that it could be Barbie because like it's almost like going to be a reaction to the overreaction of non-including it. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, like the Academy's gonna give it to Barbie just because, like, well, we didn't nominate Margot Greta, so here's an Oscar.
Right, exactly. Okay, cool. So there's that one. Animated feature films. Amina, right? Yeah. Okay. Boy and the Heron. Miyazaki.
I still haven't seen that. My brother saw it. He said it's really good.
I hear it's great.
I feel like that's the one to beat.
Elemental. I think that's DreamWorks. Like
that was like a sleeper hit for Disney.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Is it Disney? Okay. And Nimona. I don't know what that is.
That one's on Netflix. It's an adaptation of a comic book. It's pretty good.
Oh wait, I've seen that thumbnail. Yeah, Robot Dreams. I don't know what that is. And Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which
also rocked. Quite good. Yeah.
So. It's gonna be between Spider-Man and The Boy and the Heron.
I feel like it's gonna be The Boy and the Heron. It is really quite good.
Yeah, it's the Boy in the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Across the Heron.
It's a story of a Japanese boy's struggle with opioids. So.
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't know. Is Miyazaki like get over with the Academy crowd? I don't know.
It's supposed to be his final film, right? So like, why not give it to him?
Just like Tom Brady's going to retire.
Yeah, we've heard this story before.
Yeah, but he's like old.
Yeah, but you can't stop him from drawing. He's like addicted to it.
They tried. They keep trying to stop him from drawing.
I mean, like,
he's breaking free.
He starts making mashed potatoes.
He breaks free, Eisner's grabs the marker. Yeah.
Will Eisner, worked until he was 87 years old, and passed away because of complications of quadruple bypass heart surgery.
He passed away because of all the hand cramps.
May Spitfire
Yes.
saying, I'd say Spider-Verse, but I don't appreciate the blue balls they left us at the end there. So I agree. It's
I
real.
agree.
It's a real Dune Part 2
Yes.
situation, and I love the movie, but it is sort of like, oh come on, really?
Aren't we so glad Dune Part 2 didn't get released? Because Christopher Nolan would have been so pissed because that was his major competition.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Spider-Man
gonna
into
say,
the universe.
About the hanging ending, I did actually really enjoy this movie because I got to hear like 12 kids burst out crying and have 12 sets of parents try and explain like what to be continued means in a movie, and it was a little
Oh, your first to be continued in film. I've
Oh
been
my
there.
god, I was baffled by Star Trek 3 whenever I saw that as a child.
Production design.
Oh,
Christina,
dang.
this one's you.
Yeah, this one is it. I have thoughts about this. Nominees for production design: Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon,
Yeah,
Oppenheimer. Poor Things. Where's Priscilla?
yeah. That Napoleon, peace and love. Shouldn't be. in
Napoleon,
it.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Like,
Huh.
Just where's Priscilla?
I think it's between Poor Things and Barbie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think both of them are really good. None of them are bad, but it's like the extra level of effort for both of those films to create that lived-in world.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
Barbie used so much pink, there was a national shortage on pink paint
Yes.
just because of the set.
love it.
Like
I
they
love
built real sets. Like they didn't depend on like CGI for like anything.
it.
They went full
Pepto-Bismol
Heartthrob.
actually wrote a letter to their congressman.
They went full Heartsong with this film and built real Barbie dream houses.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's it's interesting that like we have a competitive production design category this
Yeah.
year, you know. That's
Also,
great.
I just
I love
imagine like what would Werner Herzog's Barbie be like?
The doll goes into the other world. She does not realize she will be treated as if she is less than human, even when she is not human. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I work better with material.
No. It was no one laughed because it was just too accurate.
That would be amazing if you just redo Barbie, but with Werner Herzog narrating.
I would buy that riff track 100%. I would buy like $10 a riff track if Werner would talk over like any film.
You fucking know he would do it too. You know he would do it, and it would rule. It would rule because he would have like some crazy epiphany to like, what? Where did that come from? Right? Like he's got such an eloquent way about him. Anyway, cinematography. So this one's me. El Conde, great film, great cinematography. That's the one that it's Pinochet, but he's a vampire. And he's got a bunch of his family around him, and they all suck. It's kind of like Succession that way.
Why haven't I heard of this movie?
I told you about it, and you went, huh?
I don't know. What was I doing at the time?
I don't know.
Is it only in theaters? Can you stream it? It does sound very...
It's on Netflix. And you know who else is a huge fan of El Conde? Eileen Jones. She loved it as well. And it's really good, and the cinematography in it is awesome. Black and white film. It's one of the weirder movies that came out this year, and I liked it way better than most people. And I think it's just kind of like all you have to say is Pinochet as a vampire, and I'm like, yes, I will watch that movie. That sounds great, and it looks beautiful. So I'm glad that that's there. Get Killers of the Flower Moon, again, great looking movie. Sure, Maestro is a movie. Oppenheimer, I think some incredible cinematography in Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
And Poor Things, which same thing there. And I think this will go to Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Is that the same cinematographer that Nolan often works with, or is this a new one?
I think it is. That is a very good question.
Sorry to curveball y'all.
Hoyt Van Hoytem.
I know, feels like a fake name, right?
That is who he always works for. Yeah, he always works with Hoyte. Yeah.
Interstellar, Dunkirk.
He's the one who holds that bulky IMAX camera for him. That thing's heavy.
I love their return to black and white films lately. I completely agree.
Bring it back.
That's they're releasing Godzilla -1 as minus color too.
I heard that. Yeah.
Awesome. And I might go see it again, depending on how cold it stays. Pinochet in it as a vampire Batcopter. Yep. Cool. So that's that one. Lots of really cool looking movies this year. So competitive category. I think it goes to Oppenheimer though. Kristina, over to you. Costume design.
That's costume design. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. It's gonna be between Oppenheimer and Poor Things. Again, where is Priscilla at? I
can't. So let me ask a question. Do we think that Napoleon's only showing up because Beau was Afraid was just redacted to a black site? And
I don't know.
they want to include something
Napoleon was this year's Oscar bait movie though. Like everyone agrees that it was pure Oscar bait. But and this is the problem with oh my god, who directed Napoleon again?
Ridley Scott.
Yeah. He's always bragging about releasing a movie every freaking year, while like Martin Scorsese and like Christopher Nolan, they have their own ways of releasing films when they feel inspired for films. And I'm like, but maybe that's the problem. You're making all these movies so fast, you're not really taking your time to make masterpieces again.
You can take a year off there, buddy.
It does really feel like because Napoleon is a biopic, it's too delicious for the Oscars to not be like, we have to do something for it.
I think. Again, I would have said Beau's dad was definitely enough. That's good. I would have said this is going to be Poor Things, easy. But again, with how Barbie is being represented, I think people might be.
They're coming up with a book about Margot's whole like lookbook for the promotional tour of Barbie.
I think it's between those two, though. I think it's going to be one of those two.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. Film editing. We should have Forrest do this one. You want to do this one, Forrest?
All right. We got Anatomy of a Fall. Laurent Sechal. I don't know how to pronounce that. Senechal.
Okay. Yeah, you're fired. Okay. I don't know either. I mean, she's French, so sure. Senechal.
It's more chill over there. You can pronounce it how you want. The Holdovers. Kevin Tent.
That's right.
Is the editor over there.
Pitch of Kevin.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Thelma Schoonmaker, who I fucking love. She's so fucking badass. I love everything about her. The video of her like editing on an old style computer while Scorsese's in the background, and she's like talking about Goodfellas. I don't know if you guys saw that clip.
Yeah.
She's like, "You want to do it like this?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm not. Can I see it like that?" And she's like, "Sure." And she goes back to it. I love her so fucking much. Oppenheimer, Jennifer Lame.
I would change that name.
Yeah,
Lame.
She's also French. I liked the editing in Oppenheimer.
It's probably gonna get this.
And in Poor Things, a different Yorgos, a more different Yorgos.
Yes.
So there's two Yorgoses that worked on that movie.
It's like Paul over
I
there.
think you're the only two Yorgoses in the world.
I feel like they should be handing out some yogurt at the theater entry. I think you nailed it for us. I think it's going to be Killers of the Flower Moon. And I think that's just like an aggregate, like a career, like a career high film editor.
Has she gotten? I don't know if she's, because Scorsese's gotten like up there on a lot of things that I don't know. Let's see.
We'll get our top researchers on it, which means I'm
doing
frantically Google.
We'll have top men on it.
She's 84.
Top men.
84 too. So that's another.
She's done every single one of. I think since Alice doesn't live here anymore, she's done every single Scorsese movie.
That's wild.
Which makes it funny when people are like, "Oh, Scorsese doesn't have like a lot of women, like women characters," and it's like, yeah, but he has like a woman running his entire post-production crew.
Yeah.
You don't have to write him well when you give him money to help you.
Well, it's like
her IMDb photo is her holding an Oscar.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's got one. She's got one for Raging Bull, one for The Aviator, and one for The Departed, and she's been nominated for way more than that. But did not win for Goodfellas, did not win for Gangs of New York, did not win for Hugo.
That's weird.
It's because they posted the video of her hesitating, and like you gotta show real fortitude if you're gonna be in it.
I think it's gonna be the kind of situation where she's an old war horse, right? And you're gonna give her flowers while she's still around, kind of thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be sexist. I'm just saying she's old. Thank you.
Yeah, you're trying to be ageist.
Exactly. I'm just ageist. Come on, Kristina. What do we got?
Best nominees for makeup and hairstyling. Where's Priscilla? Golda, Maestro, Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Society of the Snow. Again, Priscilla.
It's a
Anyway.
no-brainer for Priscilla. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Poor Things. Could probably. I mean, you know what? Okay, I'm gonna say it. They're gonna give it to Maestro just because of the nose.
I was gonna say that's the nose.
And that's probably don't. It's
It
probably gonna get
counts.
that, and it's gonna be it's gonna be embarrassing and laughable. And Bradley Cooper's gonna be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Thank you for giving us this award.
What's funny is
I based this nose off my grandmother.
the one person who's seen Society of the Snow just jumped off stream for a minute. I can't speak to that.
Sorry, I'm back. I'm sorry. I drank 2 liters while running through May, December just before we started taping. So I'm like,
All good. So makeup and
I would
hairstyling.
be surprised if Oppenheimer got that.
I feel like Society of the Snow has to get it because they did not use a lot of CGI. They did some really wonderful, like, high contour. Let me tell you what, they sucked those cheekbones right fucking in.
Ooh,
High
you think that was
contours.
what?
We looking for
Yeah.
high contours.
And
You know
it's
what
really
I'm
hard to
talking
do frostbite and like chapped by the sun. There's a lot of
Well,
technical
okay.
makeup in this movie.
about. KT, sure, but fake nose.
Yes.
True. If you only do it on one character who's the main instead of all fucking 40 of them.
Counterpoint, Junos.
Guys,
Yeah, no, you do have
guys,
me there. It is.
October
Yeah.
seventh.
Also,
happened
too, I
this
mean,
year.
Ben's that.
Let the Jews get their due at the Oscars with that nose.
They haven't had enough. Wasn't one of the Safdie brothers playing in Oppenheimer? He looked exactly like Teller.
Teller. Yeah.
That makeup was phenomenal.
Yeah. So the question is just like, how much are we going to continue rewarding prosthetic noses?
I mean, I guess the question is, what do you consider makeup and what do you consider like special effects? At which point is it like, okay, well, we made this guy look like he was somebody else, and we made this guy look like he was starving to death and half his face had
Or
fallen off.
younger too. Let's forget it. The de-aging.
Yeah, well,
crap
that's
is
I think
visual effects.
I think you're right, Christina, that Priscilla not even being on here is just a travesty.
Yes.
It is.
I mean, it's yeah.
I mean, and learning now, like, let me go on a little tangent real quick. Learning now that we could have gotten more of Priscilla being independent because of the fact that Sofia Coppola didn't have a budget for this movie.
Yeah.
Everyone's like,
Because
why
even
did you
the
follow?
daughter
I'm like,
of Francis Ford Coppola apparently has trouble getting funding if you're filmmaking while female.
which is why Priscilla seemed very rushed as a film, if you think about it.
Yeah. That's deeply unfortunate.
Justice for Priscilla.
Sound nominees for sound. So we got the creator, which did have great sound. We got Maestro. Maestro
It's
good
about
sound as
music.
Conducting scene is why it's nominated for.
Yep, which is a good
Sound
scene.
is music. Yeah.
Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. So
Why?
Yeah,
suburban
there was a lot
dad
of noise in it.
representation.
It was noisy.
Some of it was
You
even
could
part
tell
of the
what was
movie.
happening through the noise. I mean, good on them for that.
Oppenheimer, and of course, a movie that does not exist called The Zone of Interest.
It might go to Oppenheimer because of the
It has
tuning
to be,
test
right?
alone.
It like the sound in that film is like so
Where
intrinsic.
you're like, and if, when you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, where did that come from?
Like to the point that I wonder.
Like you just hear Killian breathing, and
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, I
If-
love that sound of you breathing.
people
Keep
are-
going at it.
if people are like pulling a Ravana and like watching on like a cracked iPhone, like are they gonna get the same experience? Right?
No,
I don't
so he
know.
has a
No,
good
because I
point.
watched it with the with casino ads. Remember?
Oh, that's
So you with a good comment about
That's right,
Oppenheimer.
I forget. Andy
Yeah,
was on
but-
some sketchy site that with like the casino ads kept coming up, which is like
Yeah.
as the
I
director
was
intended.
sending coded screenshots while
Yeah,
I
I
So,
forgot about that. Yeah.
Speaking of Oppenheimer, well, I mean, of course, with best score, when they did, how a lot of orchestras recreate the the music, the score from movies live. Well, while they were doing the gymnasium scene where everyone's stopping, they had the orchestra playing and stopping at the same time to represent that whole scene, which is pretty neat.
When Andy was watching it on that sketchy site, Christopher Nolan somewhere had a heart murmur, and he didn't know why.
Yeah, he's like, oh,
What happened? I don't know.
he's like, oh my god, is someone not watching my film on an IMAX screen? What's happening here?
I think it's Oppenheimer, and I think Oppenheimer again, not having seen Zone of Interest.
That
Never
film is
gonna.
like this though.
Can't.
We discussed
Literally
this.
everyone else. Right?
You're not allowed to.
It's the law. I think it's going to be Oppenheimer. I do think the creator has really good sound. I just don't think anyone cares.
It doesn't have a bomb.
Oppenheimer, I feel like it's so important to the film, the sound. Whereas I can't say that's the case for
That and the close up of Cillian Murphy's face. That's what
Maestro.
makes
The
the movie.
conducting stuff sounds great. That's cool. So that could be strong enough either. But I think it's going to be Oppenheimer. I think
I
it's-
could have done that shit, Bradley.
And
Come
seeing
on.
the creator reminds me that they were kind of snubbed for cinematography because that was a beautiful.
It is a
looking movie.
cool looking movie. Yeah, for sure. Same about the plot. Anyway,
Ooh,
visual effects.
let's go.
It's a mirror.
The creator.
Actually, let's let Andy do it. Andy, you've been.
Oh,
you're
yeah,
on
do that,
this.
Andy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Visual effects. We have the creator. Godzilla -1 finally getting nominated.
Finally.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is no longer the name of that film, and Napoleon.
This category is schizophrenic.
Well, in defense of Guardians, that was since it's a James Gunn movie and James Gunn is pretty consistent. That was the only Marvel movie with a good visual effects team. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
There-
really the
Yeah.
only Marvel movie that came out that was good, to be honest.
I guess this is like where they put all the movies that didn't get other like nominations. I feel like
Yeah.
Oppenheimer has some pretty good visual effects too. Like it's kind of weird that that's.
Well, it's
Uh,
not the eye effects, is what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
everyone
have
kept
the,
saying
uh,
Oppenheimer's not worthy of it.
Can I show?
Like
Can I show? I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
I know I can because I'm doing it. This is the Godzilla -1 team learning about the nomination.
Isn't that adorable?
Wait,
First
are
of
you
all-
sure it's not you?
Yeah, look at all these Godzillas, so great. So this is when they came in at like whatever 4:30 in the morning, whenever it was. I don't know what time it was for them, but I love this. So
I want them to win so badly, and they so utterly deserve it.
They're probably gonna get it. Hopefully,
It's
I'm
gonna be.
pissed.
They're not
It's a
gonna put
celebration.
Napoleon in for
yeah,
whatever, and
Napoleon.
they're never gonna give it to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Come on now, like this is the Academy.
It's a shame that movie is in there. It feels like it deserves so much more, but I'm glad that it is.
So I was fairly agnostic on the visual effects. Like I feel like it's all pretty good.
Yeah.
Whatever. Until I saw like them freaking out and like having the best time ever together, and I was like, okay, it should be those guys.
Yeah.
And like maybe that makes me a chump. Maybe that's like people are mad at Paul Giamatti going to In-N-Out Burger now, and I'm like, man, like you need to get the fuck off the internet. Peace and love.
Yeah.
Get off the internet.
Cillian Murphy's bringing sponge cake because you can't eat at the Oscars. Like, let people have fun, man.
Let the
I'll
man
eat
eat.
whatever I bring in my purse. Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
Butterscotches, it's on.
So I want it to be Godzilla -1,
Mhm.
Yes.
and I think it's very worthy. I think if there's anything that the creator wins, it's going to be this,
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
because
It is a stunning.
it's a very visually exciting movie,
Stop it.
and I think that counts for a lot. I really want it to be Godzilla -1 though, but
Yeah, me too.
Mhm.
we'll see. All right, Kristina.
Ooh, here we go,
Score.
baby. Nominees for Best Original Score: American Fiction. When your competition is John Williams. Indiana Jones and Dial of Destiny, Kills of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. It's good between Oppenheimer and Indiana Jones. You know why? Because when your competition is John Williams, you're kind of fucked either way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. No, it's
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is certainly a movie, and I certainly saw it. The score is great. I mean, how is it not
It's
going
John
to be great?
Williams. They're going to give him the Oscar
It's
anyway.
one of the
It belongs to
Alzheimer's,
Ludwig,
right?
though. It belongs to Ludwig.
Yeah.
His inspiration for the entire score was just Cillian Murphy alone. He was like, I just
Yeah.
looked at him and like kept looking at him and like went along and just created a score based off of his looks. And I'm like, baby, that's how it is with him. You know, you can like.
I'd like
Why
to
do you think Christopher
score
Nolan
based
cast
on
him
his
in
looks.
movies in the first place? Like he literally stole him in 28 Days Later, which by the way, we're getting a sequel 20 years later. I'm like, hell yeah, we're getting
I
more
love
full
that.
frontal Killian. Let's go. Anyway,
It's been 20 whole years.
yeah.
Look,
Like,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna
bring
be
him back.
Oppenheimer.
It's 28 years later, and he's gonna hang brain in this one too.
Now it's saggy.
Oh God.
No one will complain.
The guy who did the score for Killers of the Flower Moon died.
Oh,
whoops.
really?
Oh,
Well,
no.
sorry.
Oh,
we
Robbie
gotta
Robertson
win
from the
that.
band.
Yeah.
That's right. So
That is the
there might be
ultimate
a
porno
give it.
name. I respect that.
Yeah. I mean, he's like the band. So like they might give it to Robbie Robertson just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's between
Yeah.
Ludwig, John Williams, and Robert Robertson.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And I think John Williams is the oldest person ever be nominated for an Oscar.
He was supposed to retire too, but he ain't doing that.
He's on the Miyazaki plan.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
The other
He's
thing is
gonna
like, how
die
much work did he
conducting.
actually do for Dial of Destiny? Like he did most of the work already back in the 80s.
He has to be physically restrained from running over to the music stand. I don't know how he conducts.
At Tanglewood.
All right, original song. So the ubiquitous Diane Warren. If there's a movie and she does literally anything with it, it has to show up for the Oscars. It's the law. At least this movie, apparently, people have seen it. I haven't. I don't care.
I did. It was perfectly cromulent. But if you're gonna put a song like that and put in Peaches,
Yes, I wanted
That's
Jack
right,
Black to perform in the Bowser onesie with the orchestra right behind him. What the fuck, Academy?
yeah, I saw that
You could've
movie
done
and I
that,
don't even
and I'm
remember
just
there
saying.
being a Fire Inside song. To be honest,
Anything but Indiana Jones because I want it to go away. Been there. I'm not that mad at that movie. But
There you
I've been there. I'm just Ken from Barbie.
Just think, we're gonna get Ryan Gosling performing that live, y'all.
it's gonna be great.
Never Went Away, American Symphony. That's the John Baptiste documentary. And of course, that's like all this guy does, right? So should be a strong contender. Wazashi, a song for my people. It's Killers of the Flower Moon. That's a great tune. What Was I Made For? Billie Eilish. That's what's gonna be.
Yeah,
That was a really good song. Yeah.
It's I don't think
it's gonna be a very interesting performance. It's gonna be interesting because at the Oscars you have to perform Best Original Song, and it's gonna be very conflicting with emotional battles. Like, what was I made for? And then, I'm just Ken. Like,
I mean, from a sheer perspective of songwriting, I'm just kind of great. I mean, and just like the whole turning into like a Busby Berkeley musical, kind of like.
I loved it. They're gonna have to do it though. Oh my god, that's gonna be so exciting. I bet Ryan Gosling like fuck.
Between the two of those, I have nothing against Billie Eilish. She operates in a genre. She's good at what she does. But
She's gonna be the next Diane Warren. Every time she writes a song for like a movie, it has to get nominated because this is her second nomination, and this is probably gonna be her second win too.
But you do make a really interesting point, though, that I'm Just Ken is more of a film song.
right.
So yeah.
But
Wow,
I don't know.
Mark Ronson wrote "I'm Just Ken." That's
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good one.
Who's not
I
related
remember,
to
he,
Dick
I
Ronson.
remember when he was Mark Ronson in the international business. That was his fucking thing, and he would like work with like random fucking artists from like different countries.
Yeah.
They didn't work with Bruno Mars.
Uptown Funk.
This was before that. And then he ended up working with Bruno Mars. He ended up working with Diplo, and he had like this thing called like Electric Sun with Diplo.
But he's like he produced a Queens of the Stone Age record. It's their worst record, but he produced it. I mean, like he's
All
right. This is our last one
that we care about.
So this is the international feature film category. Go ahead and get it, Kristina.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Io Capitano. Perfect Days, Society of the Snow, The Teacher's Lounge, and Zone of Interest. Again, that movie just does not exist.
So this is where Anatomy of a Fall, if France had decided, so they went with Taste of whatever the heck it is. I can't remember what it is that they went with. And this was leaving money on the table. This is leaving Oscars on the table. It would have won international, like, no question in my mind, right? But they didn't. So from my perspective, and knowing full well, so Perfect Days is Wim Wenders, by the way. So it's not like some nothing film. Like that's the Wim Wenders. It's got not only is it Wim Wenders, it's got the fella who was a heartthrob in Tampopo in it. Who's like it's years and years later, of course, but like it's a Japanese set film by Wim Wenders. Society of the Snow. KT, you've seen that one. I have not.
It's quite good.
And then, of course, the ubiquitous Zone of Interest, which was established does not exist.
It doesn't exist. I don't understand why this movie's getting nominated. It's a fake film.
I would be impressed if it got nominated for all those other categories and didn't manage to win here.
I think without, I think without a Anatomy of a Fall in this, I think it's Zone of Interest to lose to a certain degree.
Only one of these is nominated for anything else, and it's makeup.
Right. And it to me, I don't know. I haven't seen it, right? Is it worthwhile? I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I think it's Zone of Interest to lose. And a lot of people, the international voting audience, loves Zone of Interest.
Yeah.
So I think
But we don't love it because we never seen it. We never will.
We're going to see you all adore the hell out of it.
Oi, governor. I'm out here in the Zone of Interest.
Zone of Interest. So there you go. We're not doing documentaries. We're not doing the shorts. The one thing I'll say about the shorts is that those Wes Anderson Netflix shorts, the Roald Dahl ones, are in there, and it was nominated for one of those. Asteroid City.
God. Everyone was like mad about his snub for Asteroid City, and I'm like,
yeah, nominated for nothing, and I don't care.
I love that. I hate that movie.
But I think that they're gonna the short is gonna be his consolation Oscar.
I thought the shorts were a very good use of his style and a really good interpretation of some stories you hadn't known. I mean, I like him and I enjoyed Asteroid City, but I don't think it should be nominated for things. I think the Roald Dahl shorts are much more worth it.
I agree, and I think that it's notable for a number of reasons why his thing that he does works better.
I love the word you taught me today for that.
you should share it with the audience because it's one of my favorites.
Pablum? Is that how you say it?
Pablum.
Yes. Which is processed cereal for infants.
I will say,
isn't that what he is?
Asteroid City, one of the few bright points in it is Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright's great in it, yeah.
I hated that fucking movie, but I liked his speech.
Yeah,
I don't like Wes. I gave Wes Anderson another chance. I did.
Apparently, so
and then couldn't make it all the way through, and then watched the second half the next day, and still was like, yeah, this sucked.
I saw Bottle Rocket too young. I guess I really like him. It's a childhood thing.
Look, I like Bottle Rocket too. I like Rushmore. I like what's the one with Gwyneth?
Royal Tenenbaums?
Yeah, Royal Tenenbaums. I like Life Aquatic. There's a lot of Wes Anderson movies I like. Whatever he is doing now is not for me. Is the best way that I'll put it.
Well
Life Aquatic is great. Royal Tenenbaums is pretty good, but it's just not
It's they look
Asteroid
gorgeous.
City is not worth being nominated. I think we all agree.
He's leaned into his stylistic things, and they're just not my
And whatever he does, he has acolytes that are like, it's the best thing ever. It should win everything. No, it shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
I really like how the screen split, and then there was an exact two things that was on the screen, and it mirrored each other. You're that was genius. It's that was genius in the last fucking 14 Wes Anderson movies. You also like how there was one character of color, and the rest of them were just random ass white people that he puts in every other movie. Yes, I did like that. Did you like that Bill Murray was in it? Bill Murray wasn't in this one because he got COVID.
I loved when he ripped off Powell and Pressburger and Jacques Tati. It was great. And he did it in every movie. It's like, if you've never seen those movies, and you'd be like, wow, he's the most original filmmaker ever.
Was.
Apparently, the Irish have never actually won an Oscar for acting. Cillian Murphy could be the first Irish actor to actually win an Oscar.
No. Really?
Yeah.
That seems crazy.
What? That feels insane.
Weird.
That feels...
That feels weird to say.
Colin Farrell didn't win last year.
Colin Farrell, he did not win. He won Golden Globes. No, it was a BAFTA. Was it BAFTA? Golden Globe? Whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway.
BAFTAs also were weird too this year, not going to lie.
Right. Here's what we're covering.
My mom's like, what are the BAFTAs? I'm like, they're basically...
Wait a minute.
Oscars.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Is he Irish?
He's Irish, and he's very Irish, and he's definitely won
Irish.
Oscar.
He's such a method actor. He's whatever he's actually.
He's Mexican.
Irish and he votes.
I thought he was Native American.
Maybe he's English Irish. I don't know. Well, somebody check it for us.
We'll get our top.
I'm doing it right now.
Christina's
No,
their
he was
top
born
pick.
in London.
All right.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he's just British.
Sir Daniel Michael Blake Day-Lewis.
Oh, if he
What
took
the
the
hell
sir,
is a
then
name
he's
like that?
definitely not Irish.
Those are a lot of
Okay,
names.
so-
That's a lot.
They were like, how can I give my son every male first name that's in the
It's like they had it like a baby book, like the name baby book, and they're like, we have to use as many names in here as we can, or we're gonna lose the money.
They wanted to get that.
It's like
To
Brewster's
be
Millions
fair, though,
rules.
To be fair, though, a lot of Irish people do name their kids like Sean Patrick Daniel O'Brien, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe he was trying to
What's
catch
Killing
up with
Murphy's
the
real name?
Irish.
Here's what we're covering for Oscar month. Again, remember we have covered both Barbie and Oppenheimer earlier on during the Barbenheimer phenomenon, and so you can still access those episodes if you don't know them or if you haven't listened to them. Killers of the Flower Moon with Karthik, that's on the 6th of February. Past Lives on the 9th of February. Holdovers with Eileen Jones on February 13th. December. Snubbed. Unfortunately,
We're gonna talk about it anyway.
but
'cause it's good.
we like it. I feel like there's 3 performances that should have been nominated.
Charles
and,
Melton, man.
exactly, and so we're gonna be talking about that with KT on the panel as well as our friend Lauren. American Fiction with Zach B. Marsh. She's coming on for that one. That should be a good one. Poor Things. So Renee Friday, last one of the
Nice.
of the season. For us, and then we're live streaming the Oscars just like we did last year with Katie, Lauren, and Zach. And that's
We're
gonna,
gonna have so much fun, guys, especially when best songs start getting performed. Oh my god.
so we're gonna be doing that again. We had a great time doing that last year, and I felt like that was a really good show.
Yeah.
No reason to think it won't be the same this time because we're
I can't believe how popular we were
poor
last year.
thoughts.
Poor thoughts.
Yeah, so I feel pretty good about this. I feel like better about our crop of our coverage than we do of some of the nominees. But I think it's a very strong year from my perspective.
Yeah.
And these should be some interesting discussions. I'm looking forward to each one of these for different reasons.
Yeah, and my hot take is Cillian Murphy's never gonna get another Oscar nomination in his life, so
Really?
Oh, I don't think so. I think he's gonna age like a fine wine and just keep getting roles.
Yeah.
I mean he's
He's
gonna
gonna
get
end up-
rolled, but I don't think they're gonna be award worthy. I mean, have you seen his filmography? I don't even think he's even seen Anna yet.
Hey, you can start, like Margot Robbie. You can start as a sexy and then, pick your roles. I mean, after this, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants.
I
I'm
agree.
hoping.
And so he'll do 28 years later.
He's like, the Peaky Blinders movie's being filmed in a few months, and he's like, "Yeah, there's a script I'm gonna do," and I'm like, "Oh, shut up! You know you're in it."
Oh, cheeky blinders. I love it.
Cheeky Blinders. They're doing comedy. It's the reboot no one asked for.
It's the goof reels at the end.
Austin, no less.
So there you go. That's our that is our Oscar nomination announcement special. Any parting words? Anyone? Panel? My fellow producer Kristina.
Greta Gerwig, Margot Robbie, you both are Knuff.
Justice for Greta. There you go.
Justice for Greta.
Justice for Greta.
It's a new